Picture this. You did everything right. You called, you texted, you made plans. You showed interest without being desperate, or so you thought. You were consistent, available, present. Everything modern dating advice tells you to be. And her? Lukewarm at best. She responded, sure, but hours later, sometimes a day. Her messages were short, no questions back, no effort to keep the conversation alive. When you suggested plans, she hit you with, maybe, or let me check my schedule. Half the time she'd cancel. The other half she'd show up but seem distracted, checking her phone, mentioning other guys casually, never quite all in. But she didn't ghost you completely. She kept the line warm, just enough response to keep you hoping, just enough engagement to keep you trying. So you tried harder. You planned better dates. You sent funnier texts. You timed your messages perfectly, not too eager, not too distant. You became a student of her moods, her patterns, her hints. And the harder you tried, the more distant she became. Then something happened. Maybe you got tired. Maybe you got busy with work. Maybe you met someone else who actually seemed interested. Or maybe you just gave up. You stopped texting, stopped calling, stopped making plans. Not as a tactic, not as some strategic no-contact play. You genuinely moved on. She became a memory, a lesson, a closed chapter. 3 weeks later, your phone lights up. Hey stranger, been thinking about you lately. How have you been? Want to grab coffee sometime? I miss talking to you. And here's where your brain breaks, brother. Because for 3 weeks, you didn't exist to her. For 3 weeks, she seemed perfectly fine without you. For 3 weeks, your absence meant nothing, until it meant everything. Let me tell you about Marcus, 28, software developer. Met a woman named Jessica on a dating app. 3 months of this exact pattern. He'd initiate every conversation, plan every date. She'd show up sometimes, flake sometimes, always keep him guessing. He felt like he was auditioning for a role she hadn't decided to cast yet. One day, his company sent him on a 2-week project in another city. He was legitimately too busy to text. 12-hour days, new team, high pressure. Jessica completely left his mind. Day 16, he checks his phone. 7 messages from her, spread over the 2 weeks, starting casual, getting progressively more engaged. The last one, are you seeing someone else? You've been really quiet. Marcus hadn't changed. His personality was the same. His value was the same. His life was the same. The only variable that changed, his availability. And that single variable rewrote her entire perception of him. What I'm about to tell you isn't a trick. It's not a tactic. It's the dark psychological mechanism that governs female attraction. The mechanism nobody wants to acknowledge because it validates every toxic dating behavior modern culture claims to reject. This is why absence doesn't make the heart grow fonder through some poetic magic. It triggers loss aversion in a brain that took you for granted. This is why withdrawal works when pursuit fails. This is the psychological reset, and once you understand it, you'll never see dating the same way again. Let's talk about what's actually hardwired into human mating psychology. Not the romanticized version, not what sounds nice, what's actually programmed into our neurobiology over hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. The pursuer-distancer dynamic. In every attachment relationship, romantic, familial, even friendships, there's a natural push-pull. One person pursues connection, the other creates distance. This isn't dysfunction. This is biological programming designed to regulate intimacy and maintain pair bonds. But here's what most men don't understand. In early-stage dating, whoever is pursuing has already lost. In the ancestral environment, men competed for female sexual access. Women evaluated competing males and selected. This created the foundational dynamic. Men pursue, women choose. But, and this is critical, brother, once a woman made her choice, the dynamic was supposed to flip. She would then invest in securing commitment from the chosen male. She would pursue his fidelity, his resources, his protection. Modern dating has broken this flip. Women still select, but they no longer flip to pursuit after selection. They keep multiple men in the maybe category indefinitely, evaluating, comparing, keeping options warm while committing to none. And every man who continues pursuing after her initial selection phase is signaling the same thing: low mate value. Here's the neurological mechanism that makes this devastatingly effective: the scarcity heuristic. Evolution programmed a simple equation into human psychology. Scarce equals valuable. Abundant equals disposable. This applies to everything: resources, opportunities, food, and potential mates. When you were always available, always responsive, always pursuing, you were abundant. From her perspective, you had no other options. She was your best or only choice, and her subconscious brain reached a brutal conclusion: if I'm his best option and I'm not that impressed, then he must be low value. Now let's talk about dopamine, the molecule of more, the anticipation chemical, the neurochemical that makes you feel alive, motivated, obsessed. Dopamine doesn't spike from certainty. It doesn't spike from having something. It spikes from the possibility of getting something uncertain. During your pursuit phase, her dopamine was flat. You were predictable, available, secured. There was no uncertainty, no chase, no anticipation. Every time you texted, she knew you'd text. Every time you suggested plans, she knew you'd pursue. Every time you showed interest, she knew it would be there tomorrow. No dopamine, no excitement, no attraction reinforcement. But the moment you disappeared, uncertainty flooded in. Where did he go? Why isn't he texting? Did I do something? Is he seeing someone else? Did he lose interest? Every one of those questions is a dopamine trigger. Her brain lit up like a Christmas tree trying to resolve the uncertainty. And dopamine, in her neurochemistry, feels almost identical to attraction. Your absence created what your presence never could: the neurochemical conditions for attraction. Let me tell you about Daniel, 31. Dated a woman named Amanda for 2 months. Classic pattern. He was all in, she was lukewarm. He'd plan elaborate dates. She'd show up late or reschedule. He'd text good morning. She'd respond at 3 p.m. with busy day. One weekend, Daniel went camping with friends. No cell service. Genuinely unreachable for 3 days. When he got back to civilization, his phone exploded. 12 messages from Amanda, starting with, "Hey, how's your weekend?" Escalating to, "Are you okay? You've been really quiet," to, "I'm starting to worry about you." 3 days. That's all it took. 3 days of involuntary absence rewired 2 months of lukewarm interest into active pursuit. Daniel didn't become more attractive. He became unavailable. And unavailability triggered her loss aversion response. Loss aversion is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. We fear losing what we have more than we desire gaining something new. When you were pursuing, she had your attention without committing to you. No potential loss. All upside, no downside. When you withdrew, sudden potential loss. He's slipping away. He's no longer guaranteed. He might move on to someone else. Her brain's immediate response: prevent the loss, secure the option, re-engage before he's gone completely. This is why she comes back. Not because she suddenly realized your value, because she doesn't want to lose the option of you. You're still an option, brother. Just a more valuable one now that it's scarce. Let me break down exactly how the psychological reset operates, because once you understand the mechanism, you'll see it playing out in real time, and you'll know exactly what to do at each stage. Stage 1, the withdrawal. You stop initiating contact. No texts, no calls, no just checking in messages, no likes on her social media. Total radio silence. And here's the part that determines everything. This has to be genuine, not a tactic, not a 30-day no-contact plan where you're secretly counting down the days hoping she'll miss you. Genuine withdrawal. You're actually moving on. Your focus has shifted to your life, your mission, other prospects. She's fading from your mental real estate. Week 1. Her brain registers your absence but assumes it's temporary. He's probably busy with work. He's giving me space. He'll text soon. During this phase, she's unbothered, maybe even relieved. Your constant availability was starting to feel like pressure anyway. This break feels like breathing room. Your state during this week. Mild withdrawal symptoms. You want to text. You want to check if she's noticed. You fight the urge to accidentally bump into her or view her stories. Don't. Every peak is a micro relapse. Every check is feeding the addiction. Complete digital detox from her existence. Week 2 to 3. The confusion sets in. Enough time has passed that your absence is now noticeable. Her brain starts asking questions. Why hasn't he reached out? Did I do something to upset him? Is he seeing someone else? Did he lose interest completely? This is the dopamine jackpot phase, brother. Every unanswered question is a neural trigger. Her brain is now actively seeking resolution to the uncertainty. She might check your social media, might ask mutual friends about you, might accidentally show up at places you frequent, might send an indirect feeler, like or comment on something old to see if you'll respond. Your move? Nothing. Absolute zero response. Any engagement here resets the entire process and confirms you were just playing a game. If you're genuinely living your life, meeting new people, hitting the gym, focused on work, maybe dating others, you won't even notice these feelers. That's the ideal state. Week 3 to 4. The curiosity to pursuit shift. Her hamster wheel is now in overdrive. He's really gone. He's not coming back. He's moved on. I might have misjudged him. Loss aversion kicks in at full psychological force. She starts mentally reframing your entire relationship. Maybe I didn't appreciate what I had. Maybe he was a better option than I realized. Maybe I should have given him more of a chance. This is retroactive value assignment. You haven't changed, but her perception of you has completely reset. And then comes the reach out. Hey stranger, been thinking about you. How have you been? Want to grab coffee sometime? Miss our conversations? Stage completion. The power dynamic has completely flipped. She's now in the position you were in 3 weeks ago, pursuing an uncertain outcome. You're in the position she held, evaluating whether to invest. Your leverage, maximum. Her investment, finally visible. The game has reset, with you holding all the cards. Now let's talk about why this feels manipulative. Because it is. But no more manipulative than her lukewarm behavior was for the preceding weeks or months. She kept you as an option while evaluating other prospects. That's strategy. You withdrew and moved on to improve your position. Also strategy. The difference. You're now conscious of the game she was unconsciously playing. Modern dating advice calls this toxic. You're playing mind games. You're emotionally manipulating her. Real men don't withdraw, they communicate. But here's the truth they won't tell you, brother. She was already playing the game. She was already using strategic distance to keep you pursuing while she evaluated other options. The only difference now is you've stopped playing by rules designed to keep you losing. Let's talk about recognizing the pursuer-distancer trap before you waste months of your life in it. Because the earlier you identify these patterns, the earlier you can withdraw and save yourself the psychological damage of prolonged one-sided investment. Warning sign 1. You're always initiating. Every text conversation starts with you. Every date plan originates from you. Every "how was your day" comes from you. She responds, sometimes quickly, sometimes hours later, but she never initiates. Track this for 1 week. Count how many times you reach out versus how many times she does. If it's 90 to 10 or worse, you're already deep in the trap. What this signals: she's the distancer, you're the pursuer. The dynamic is inverted, and every day it continues, your value drops in her perception. Warning sign 2. Her responses are minimal investment. She replies, but with short messages. No questions back. No effort to continue conversation. You're doing all the relational labor while she's just present. When you suggest plans, she's vague. Maybe. I'll let you know. My schedule is pretty packed. But she doesn't completely shut you down. She keeps the line warm, just enough to keep you trying. What this signals: you're being kept as a backup option while she explores what she considers primary options. Warning sign 3. Plans are tentative or often cancelled. She agrees to dates but rarely commits firmly. Let me see how I'm feeling. I might be tired. Let me check if my friend needs me. Half the time she cancels or reschedules. The other half, she shows up but isn't fully present. Phone out. Mentions other guys. Talks about how busy and in demand she is. What this signals: you're not a priority. You're filling time until something or someone better materializes. Warning sign 4. You feel constant anxiety about her interest. This is the big one, brother. Your mental state tells you everything you need to know. You're constantly analyzing her messages, reading between lines, wondering if she's still interested or if you should back off, worrying about coming on too strong or not strong enough. Your brain is consumed by managing her perception of you. What this signals: you've assigned her more value than she's assigned you. The power dynamic is catastrophically skewed against you. Warning sign 5. She shows interest only when you pull back. The few times you've been genuinely unavailable, busy week at work, out with friends, distracted by life, she suddenly texts more, shows more interest, seems more engaged. The moment you re-engage fully, she returns to lukewarm. What this signals: she's not responding to you. She's responding to scarcity signals. The pattern is already established, and you're training her that she only needs to invest when you're slipping away. Here's the trap most men fall into. They recognize these signs and try to fix them by pursuing harder. If I just demonstrate more value, if I'm more consistent, if I plan better dates, if I show her what she's missing. This is the death spiral. More pursuit equals more distance. The dynamic reinforces itself. The harder you try, the less she invests. The only move that breaks the pattern: complete withdrawal. Now let's talk about how modern culture has gaslit an entire generation of men into perpetual pursuit mode. Because understanding the conspiracy helps you see why withdrawal feels wrong, even when it's the only effective move. The romantic comedy lie. Every movie, every show, every love song, same narrative. Man pursues relentlessly. Woman resists or plays it cool. Man pursues harder. Woman eventually realizes he's the one. Happily ever after. This narrative programs men to believe persistence equals romance, giving up equals cowardice. It programs women to believe a man who truly values you will pursue endlessly. If he stops, he never really cared. The result? Men locked in perpetual pursuit, women locked in perpetual evaluation, nobody happy. The feminine imperative. Modern dating advice has reframed male strategic withdrawal as toxic masculinity. You withdraw. He's playing mind games. He's emotionally unavailable. He's afraid of commitment. He's manipulative. She withdraws. She's taking care of herself. She's not settling. She knows her worth. She's protecting her energy. The double standard is designed to keep men pursuing and women selecting without ever facing consequences for lukewarm engagement. The communication trap. Every relationship coach tells you, just communicate, tell her how you feel, be vulnerable, express your interest. So you do. I really like you. I want to see where this goes. I value what we have. Her response: I appreciate that, but I'm not sure what I want right now. Let's take it slow and see what happens. Translation: your verbal confirmation of interest lowered your value. Now I'm certain you're too available. I'll keep you as an option while I explore better prospects. The communication trap keeps you pursuing by making withdrawal seem immature or avoidant. Real men talk about their feelings. Real men don't play games. Real men pursue with honesty and vulnerability. But here's what they don't tell you. Early-stage attraction isn't built on vulnerability and communication. It's built on mystery, scarcity, and perceived value. Vulnerability is for relationships. Scarcity is for attraction. If you confuse the two, you lose. The cultural conditioning. From childhood, men are taught, never give up, persistence pays off. The hero always gets the girl in the end. This serves the female sexual strategy perfectly. Women maintain multiple pursuing males. Men compete through relentless pursuit. Women select from the pool. The moment a man withdraws, stops competing, stops pursuing, he's shamed. He wasn't really interested. He got scared. He's emotionally immature. He's afraid of a strong woman. All designed to pull him back into pursuit mode. But withdrawal isn't immaturity, brother. Withdrawal is the only power move left when pursuit has failed.
Let's talk about what happens if you don't withdraw. If you keep pursuing despite all the warning signs. Because the collapse is inevitable, it's only a question of how much damage you accumulate first. Scenario 1. The slow fade to nothing. Months pass. You're more invested than ever. She's more distant than ever. Finally, you can't take the uncertainty anymore. You escalate. Where is this going? Are we exclusive? What are we to each other? Her response, always some version of the same script. I like you, but I don't see this becoming serious. We want different things. I'm not ready for a relationship right now. The collapse. All that investment, all that time, all that mental energy analyzing her every text, gone. And she feels no guilt. Because in her mind, she never promised anything. You were the one pursuing. She was just there. The internal destruction. After months of one-sided pursuit, something inside you has broken. Your self-worth has eroded. You've normalized begging for scraps of attention. You've accepted lukewarm as good enough. You've lowered your standards so far that basic human decency looks like interest. Your frame has collapsed. Your self-respect is damaged. Your calibration for healthy dynamics is destroyed. And the pattern will repeat with the next woman. Because you haven't learned the lesson, you'll pursue again. You'll invest before investment is matched. You'll mistake her minimal response for potential. The opportunity cost. While you were obsessing over converting her maybe into yes, women who were already yes passed you by. Women who would have genuinely invested, who would have initiated, who would have pursued you, who would have matched your energy. You missed them because you were focused on the one who kept you guessing. What happens when you actually withdraw? Let me paint you the other scenario. The one where you recognize the pattern and walk. You see the signs. You're always initiating. She's always lukewarm. The dynamic is killing your self-respect. So you stop. Not as a tactic. You genuinely move on. Delete her number. Mute her on social. Shift your focus to literally anything else. Two possible outcomes, both better than continuing the pursuit. Outcome A. She never reaches out. This is actually the best case. She wasn't that interested. You saved yourself months or years of wasted effort. You maintained your self-respect. You demonstrated boundaries. You preserved your time and energy for better options. The rejection happened on your terms, not after months of begging for scraps. Outcome B. She reaches out. 3 weeks later. Hey, been thinking about you. Now the dynamic has reset. She's pursuing. You're evaluating. The power has completely shifted. But here's where most men fuck it up again. They get excited. They're relieved she came back. They immediately fall back into pursuit mode. I've missed you so much. I was hoping you'd reach out. And just like that, the power is gone. The reset is undone. The dynamic returns to what it was. Your response when she reaches out determines everything. If you're desperate and relieved, she knows. Attraction dies immediately. If you're genuinely indifferent, you've moved on. She's interrupting a busy life. She's one option among several. The attraction is real. Let me give you the truth nobody wants to hear. The uncomfortable reality that explains everything but solves nothing unless you're willing to accept it. Female attraction is not a reward for good behavior. Your effort doesn't create attraction. Your consistency doesn't create attraction. Your kindness, your vulnerability, your willingness to communicate, none of it creates attraction. What creates attraction? Perceived value, scarcity, the sense that you have options and she's competing for your limited attention. When you were chasing, you signaled, no options, desperate for her specifically. She's your best or only choice. Her subconscious conclusion, low value. When you withdrew, you signaled, options exist, busy life. She's no longer a priority, you've moved on. Her reassessment, maybe I misjudged. Maybe he's higher value than I thought. Her renewed interest isn't about suddenly appreciating who you are. It's about not wanting to lose access to an option that's now scarce. You're still an option, just a more valuable one now. The frame battle. Dating is a frame battle. Whoever is more invested loses frame. Whoever loses frame loses attraction. When you pursued, she held frame. You broke. Attraction died. When you withdrew, frame reset. Neutral ground or tilted toward you. If she returns and you collapse back into eager pursuit, frame is lost again. Pattern repeats. Part of why withdrawal is hard. You're addicted to the validation. Every text back was a dopamine hit. Every date was proof she liked you. Every minimal response felt like a win. Withdrawal means no validation. Your ego starves. You feel like you're failing. But that validation addiction is what trapped you in the low-value pursuer role. Genuine outcome independence, truly not needing her validation to feel okay, is the only sustainable frame. The cruel paradox. She's more attracted when you don't care if she's attracted. She pursues when you're genuinely ready to walk away forever. The moment you care again, moment you're relieved she's back, moment you slip into pursuit, the attraction begins to fade. This is why no contact as a tactic to get her back fails. Because it's transparent. She can sense the strategy. She knows you're counting days, hoping she'll crack. Genuine indifference isn't a tactic. It's a psychological state. You're actually over it. She's interrupting your life, not filling a void. That's the only version that works. Because it's the only version that's real.
So what do you actually do with this information? How do you execute the psychological reset in a way that protects your mental health and maximizes your position? Step 1. Recognize the pattern early. Don't wait months to see if it improves. It won't. The pattern is the relationship. If you're always initiating, always planning, always pursuing, you're already losing. Recognize it in week 2, not month 6. Step 2. Withdraw completely and genuinely. No contact. Not as a 30-day tactical maneuver, as a genuine redirection of your life. Delete or mute her number. Unfollow on social media. Remove all ability to track her activity. Remove all temptation to check in. This isn't punishment. This is self-preservation. You're protecting your attention, your energy, your mental bandwidth. Step 3. Reinvest everything in your mission and options. Every ounce of energy you were spending analyzing her texts, planning dates, wondering if she's interested, redirect it. Career, fitness, hobbies, friends, other women. Build a life so engaging that her potential return would be interrupting something valuable, not filling a void. Date other women. Not to make her jealous, not as a strategy, to genuinely create options. When she's one option among several, you're no longer invested in the outcome with her specifically. Step 4. Develop genuine outcome independence. This is the hardest part. You must truly not care if she comes back. Outcome independence isn't fake, it's not a performance. It's a real psychological state where you're content either way. If she returns and you're relieved, excited, eager, you've failed. Frame collapses immediately. If she returns and you're indifferent, evaluating whether she fits into your busy life, frame is maintained. Step 5. If she returns, evaluate, don't celebrate. She reaches out. Hey, how have you been? Your response. Slow, brief, friendly but not eager. Hey, yeah, I've been busy, how are you? Not, oh my God, I've missed you so much. I was hoping you'd text. Suggest a plan on your terms, your timing, your location, your schedule. If she can't make it, genuinely don't care. You have other options. Watch her investment level. Is she pursuing now? Initiating? Planning? Or is she testing if you'll resume the old dynamic? Step 6. Maintain frame permanently. If you re-engage, never return to over-pursuit. Match her investment. Slightly less, never more. The moment you slip back, more texts, more planning, more emotional availability, attraction dies again. Maintain abundance mentality permanently. She's an option, a good option if she invests, but an option. When to walk completely. If she returns with the same lukewarm investment, walk, permanently. If she tries to keep you as an option again, walk, permanently. If you find yourself slipping into pursuit mode, walk, for your own mental health. If better options emerge during withdrawal, pursue those. She had her chance. The real reset. This isn't about winning her back, brother. It's about reclaiming your self-respect and your frame. Sometimes the reset works. She genuinely invests. The dynamic is healthy. Often it doesn't. She returns briefly, then fades again. Either way, you win. Because you're no longer wasting energy on someone lukewarm. The real reset is internal. You remember, your pursuit doesn't create attraction, your scarcity does. Your availability doesn't demonstrate value, your boundaries do. Your willingness to walk away isn't weakness, it's the ultimate power. Stop chasing, not as manipulation, as self-respect. If she valued you, she'd invest. If she doesn't, why are you? The psychological reset happens when you genuinely move on. What she does after that is irrelevant, because you've already reset the only thing that matters, yourself.